So more or less for most of the single target fights, this is going to be your talent setup. As you might know, they removed our legendaries and they made those fucking legendaries talents. So we pretty much need to pick them because those were our best in slot legendaries. This legendary is this. This legendary is this. So first row of talents. Most likely, now that we have execute, we will never want to choose fire starter unless the fight really needs it. This is basically RNG bullshit. Plus with this talent you gain a shit ton of mobility, especially at the very end of the fight where healers might not might not have the mana to heal, or your fuck ups, or you standing in shit, so you just throw 2 scorches, then you throw a pyro. Shimmer will always be useful. This row will depend on numbers basically. If we still have our burst and they not gonna nerf it, our enough power will always be our choice for fire. However, at the beginning of the expansion, most likely mirror images will be very strong. But overall, it really depends on the tanning and shit. IF will be very useful on fights where you just can't use enough power, or you don't know how to use enough power, or you're just like, fuck this shit, I don't want to play with enough power because it's a very shitty talent. Everyone knows it, everyone hates it, but whatever, here we are. Next year, again they removed one of the artifact abilities and made it a talent. So we'll have to pick that artifact ability that we had in Legion as a talent now. Maybe, a big maybe, we might use Flame On, but I highly doubt it since we have Phoenix Flames. This might be useful for some EOE fights or Mythic somehow, but for UE still Phoenix Flames is going to be very strong. This is basically quality of life, and if you need to do something, if you need to stun something or whatever, you might want to choose one of those talents. For single target, you will have to always go with this one. If there is a lot of small odds, Living Bomb is always the talent to go, especially if they are more or less spread. If you have big ads that are more or less staying in the same position, you might want to go with Flame Path. As said before, this was one of our legendary, best in slot legendaries, so most likely you will always have to choose it. On some fights, the timings might align, so you get to choose Kindling, or on some fights where you get like an ad or you get a buff and you deal a shit ton of damage and it aligns with Meteor, you might want to pick Meteor, but overall you always go with your bracers. So now how to play it? It's all about the RNG, isn't it? This is going to be basically your opener. Sadly there's a fuck ton of lag. Notice that I hard casted Pyroblast, but by doing so, like I was during my combustion, but by doing so I didn't get the rune of power shit. So it really depends. You need to not be a retard like me, and you need to watch your timing and shit. Maybe it's better to hold on to that proc, to that hard cast pyro proc, until you get run of power ready. So now, for example, I have it ready. I can cast that shit, and I cast my other proc, and etc. The mage in BFA, at least fire mage, will play almost exactly the same as in Legion. It will always depend on how good you are at managing CDs, aligning shit, and getting procs basically. And remember that always you want to have enough power up for combustion. And remember that when you hard cast your 4-second pyroblast, remember that if you do combustion at the very end, even if it's not on, since it's not on global CD, that hard casted pyroblast will gain the buff from combustion. So again, remember that during the execute phase at the very end, you'll be doing 2 scorches and then pyroblast. But outside that, once you get your combustion back and all that shit, you do your rotation normally. And if you get to choose between what do? Like you're on execute phase, right? You still want to hard cast the pyroblast from this. And that's about it.